Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the PM session. Um, Thank you so much for joining me in the AM session. It's been a great pleasure. As I told you, I'll give you an update on how the trade went. So, in the AM session, we took a break even trade. So, in the AM session, we took a break even. We're long Nasdaq, but let's look into this PM session, what we will be getting. I would love to get something in the PM session. I will truly love to get something in the PM session. But let's see. I hope you're good. I hope my stream today is better. Yesterday we struggled. In the AM session, the stream was perfect. I'm hoping for that too. Um, I'm hoping for a constant stream, to be honest. I'm hoping for a constant stream. But let's see. The frames are dropping. I just don't like that my frames are dropping. Uh, yeah, in the morning it was very stable. But are you all good? We just saw London low. We have just taken out Asia session low, AM session low, and also London low, definitely. Could we get a reversal higher? High possibilities of that, where we could possibly get a reversal to the upside. Problem is it held that 1 minute fair value gap S&P 500. Can it look for a continuation lower? That's another question. Ooh, okay. We have already tapped into this 1 hour, 4 hour fair value gap. And also it looks like S&P 500 has tapped into the daily fair value gap. So can it reverse or can we look for continuation lower? My bias for tonight. I don't have a bias for tonight. I don't have a bias for tonight. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. See. We see that. Just saw the low again. Yeah. Taken out the previous daily low. Ooh. I don't have a bias, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I don't have a bias. I could look for longs eventually, but for now, I truly don't. Because it looks like we are holding this 5 minutes of value gap here. I don't have a bias at all. One of those days where I'm totally blind on a bias. I'm totally blind on a bias. So let's see. If it closed below the low, I guess if it closed below here, and then maybe I could look for a move like this. Target the previous daily low. But only if it closed like the way I said it. Close below. Get a decisive close below. I could look for, oh, shucks. I could look for such a move. I know my stream is it's lagging again. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back now. Let's see. Just want to see how it closes. But if it closes inside, could it this be a sweep to look for longs? Let me see. Oh, the AM stream was perfect, man. I'm hoping for such a stream. I don't know, in the PM session, I don't know, I'm struggling. I don't know. So the 5 minutes is closed. 5 minutes closure, and it failed to close below. So that's where the problem is. Then I'm gonna look for a trade here. I might not get any trade. I'll tell you my idea exactly what I'm looking for. Uh, what I'm looking for is for the market to close below this lows, yeah, close below. So that's how will be my reaction. Will be like, I'll be looking for a trade like this. I'll be back. I'm just gonna check my network. What's happening with my network? Let's see. I'll be back now. Yes. Yes. Yeah. 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 You know it's Malala. Tom, change. Don't say it's your change. Change. Yeah, change. Keep on. What do you want then? No, I told you not to play with your phone. Malala wants the phone. Okay. Ah. Hi guys. So as I said, I am neutral. I'm extremely neutral today. Does this give us an opportunity to long? Let's see. It doesn't. I don't like that. It doesn't. I'm tempted to short, eh? Continuation for low. Will that work? I'm gonna attempt shorts here to look for this low. Yeah. I'm gonna attempt shorts. I'm already short. Could be that I've jumped in so early, but I'm already short. That will be my break-even point. Yes. Malanda, what? How? Why don't you make him watch TV? And if we close below there, I'm gonna move my stop loss to break even. Look, we have other things to discuss, but let's see. Oh, I would love for that to close. If it closed below there, without that rejection, I was gonna continue looking. If it closed below here, the break-even point, I'm gonna move my stop loss to break even. Remember, we have a lot of things to discuss. We have quite a lot of things to go through, but I saw an opportunity. Okay, I'm gonna move my stop loss to break even now. Oh no, it feels too close. Let's see the next candle. Things to discuss. Oh shucks. Is there a need for me to keep on this risk? Let's see. You've got an vision, yeah. Should hold that, but let's see. I'll either reduce depending on how the next until 9 o'clock. So I'll have just 5 minutes again. For that rejection. I'm just trying to give my trade a breathing space, to be honest. Oh, I see. Okay, I see. Okay. I don't think there's need for me to hold on to all this risk. Okay, I'm gonna reduce my stop loss to this low here, just above here. Uh, quickly do that. I'm gonna use my phone for all that. I trimmed my stop loss now. But once it breaks below that level, I am gonna definitely move to break even. How was your day? How was your AM session? And for today, are you green or break even? Oh, look at that. I haven't moved my stop loss to directly break even yet, because I just wanted it to have a bit of breathing space. I've just reduced. I've just reduced my risk, which is quite high. At 9 o'clock, top of the hour, we tend to see a bit of volatility at the top of the hour. Um, okay, we have reacted all the way to kind of a breaker on a 5 minutes time frame. If we to look at this 5 minutes, came all the way, rejected on that support, reacted that, and came back to tap. So we jumped in. Let's see if we're gonna get a continuation lower. Our hope is to get a closure below, then we can move our stop loss to break even. But so far, just reduced to give it a breathing space. But one thing I love about it is on the 5 minutes, we've just came inside. Up here, there's a 1 minute breaker. Maybe I didn't mark it properly, but there is, the reason being, there's also this 1 minute kind of a breaker here. That's why I went in on there. And the 5 minutes also, it's a reaction point as well. So let's see how we go. For now, I just wanted to close below. Once it closed below, I'm going to move my stop loss to break even. I'm just trying to give it more of a breathing space. I know it can still go up again. And one may ask, why didn't you move to break even? I felt like it can still tap back there on the break even point and still continue lower. So rather give it more of a breathing space and then yeah. And then we see if it will break below the direction that I'm looking for, then I can move to break even. And by the way, my stop loss is at that low, yeah. Do not forget to like and subscribe and comment and tell me where you're watching from. Tell me what you want to know. We will also discuss macros. Today there was CPI. We have seen Aussie dollar been gaining a lot of strength lately. So there's a lot of things to talk about. Unfortunately, I jumped on today and there was a trade, so I guess I had to jump on and trade what there was in the market now. Yesterday, I've taken a loss while I was speaking, while I was on a trade. Trump said they're close to reaching an agreement with Iran. The war was about to stop. Nasdaq just jumped about 200 or more pips to the upside. So I didn't have much to do. But let's see. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. So also, I am holding other long-term trades on a prop firm. I'm trying a new prop firm. So I am holding this trade, yeah. I've already trimmed to my stop loss to profit. This is NZDJPY on a prop firm. I'm trying a new prop firm. And then also I am long, I am short GU. I'm short GU as well. But these are long-term positions. Yes, Nana. Come here. So yeah, there's a trade that just went in. I'm hoping as it goes lower, break below, trim my stop loss to that low. As it continues giving me a low, I'm gonna start trimming it lower. But that's long-term trade. Yes, Nana. Huh? Come here. You want from phone? Say hi. You want phone? Can I give you mine? Huh? No, can I give you my phone? Hmm? Where's your phone? Compo. We'll call him. Tell him to come here. Sorry about that. Look at what's happening, yeah? Compo, where's my landline phone? Look at what's happening, yeah? Compo's going to check. Look at what's happening there. Yeah? Your phone is not charged. Don't go watch TV. I told you, borrow Malanda phone. Borrow Malanda phone. You. I told you not to use your phone. Huh? Huh? What? Cool. Love you. Okay. Bye bye. It's fine. You can leave it like that. Okay, sorry. So look at this. Close below. My main point is closing below there, but it's close below the consolidation area that was giving it a problem. Question is, can it still continue to hold below the low? Once it does that, I guess it gives me, even now, it does give me, because consolidated for a while, broken below this rejection point. I could literally, I'm just waiting for the 5 to close to see where the 5 closes. I want to see if the 5 will close below that. Yes, Nana? Because also a 5 minutes closure is important. Yeah. The closure below here, I think there's no need for me to keep the risk. Can sweep there, failure to close. Yes. From Malanda phone. Come here. Open the door, Malanda. Stop loss at break even, guys. Stop loss at break even. Stop at break even. Malanda. Okay, stop at break even. So I don't have any risk in the market. Come take my phone. Let me just give my son this phone because I'm fighting for a phone. His phone is off. It's time to go sleep, by the way. Yes? Oh, no, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. You have an hour. 1 hour. Okay. Close below it's coming through. Then we're hoping for a continuation lower. I'm hoping for a continuation lower. Very good, strong momentum, by the way. So here's the thing again. The next two candles are very important to me. If that closes below there, and then the next one comes and leave a fair value gap, I'm going to trail to this low here and allow the trade to happen now. This next one, depending on how where it closes, if it comes back, leave the fair value gap. I'm going to just allow it to close. But I would love it to close bearish, by the way. If it closes bearish, I'm going to have like a support area, this area as act as support, move my stop loss to profit. I hope you're following how I'm looking at moving my stop losses and just trailing. Yeah. So I guess the next candle If it does what I want, I'm gonna just secure a bit of profit as well. But I would love for it to close bearish, to be honest. Okay. Here's a closure. That's a very strong bearish close, eh? That's a support as well. That's a resistance. I'm sorry. In this case, I'm gonna trail my stop loss to that low. Reacting to the Asia low. We could pat it. I'm just trimming. If that closes low, I'm gonna trim below here and trim to this low. But only if it closes bearish. Because we'll be reacting at the London low, so that's where my worry is. But depending on how it closes below there, I'm gonna use that as support again. Because look at that. So when you move this, the fair value gap will act as support. Stop loss will be there. Just secure a lot of profit as well. Once I move there, then I'll allow you to take profit. 5 seconds before closure. If it closes bearish, then. But I'm just gonna see what happens here. Okay. Just close now. I've opened bearish. I'm just gonna trail to where I told you about. Um, I'm gonna secure 1:1. Ah. Now the next move, my stop loss now. Let me just mark it properly. We mark that my stop loss is here. Trail my stop loss to that low. I'm hoping to allow you to take profit. I only want for it to come back all the way up. Remember, it's a PM session. Sometimes you don't get such a volume that you could hold for 2RR, to be honest. So we might be taken out in a few now on a 1RR. Already we have gotten that inversion, so we might look to go up. And the thing is, I wanted to hold it support because this is a definite support if you move to the other side. Whether you trade ICT or not, but that's a support. So I will want for you to hold the support. Don't come back and close above. Where is my stop loss? Where did I put my stop loss? Oh, sorry. Okay. My stop loss was here. Sorry. Because I was also looking at that. Let's see. But I might be taken out on a 1RR, guys. So let's wait and see. Trimmed my stop loss to profit. Secured 1RR. Close to 1R. And that's a 5 minutes fair value gap, by the way. You could look, if you want to be aggressive, I want to be honest. If you want to be aggressive, there is a 5 minutes fair value gap and a breaker here. It might still give you an opportunity to re-enter. Let me do this. If you want to be aggressive, breaker, we close below this low, cleaves this breaker here. It could come back, take me out, react on the breaker and continuation lower. There's high possibility of that. But for me, I know how PM session is. After a certain time, the market tends not to move. So just gonna sit it out. One thing I love, if it holds and if this now comes back, come and take out that low here. That would be a nice move. That would be a nice move. Because now we are reacting at the London low, rejected on the London low, come back inside. Question is, can we move, take out that low, hold that low, and just flash back to our take profit? We don't know. So, but that will act as a reversal. For example, that will act as a lower low, huh? As a higher low, sorry, for continuation lower. So just gonna say something. Oh, okay, I see. That's nice. S&P 500 has reacted to that break I was telling you about. So maybe it will be our golden key to push lower. Only if it will continue having this bearish momentum that it had, but I doubt right now. I should be out. Look at S&P 500, how it jumped. I should be out in like a second now. It looks like the momentum is fully changing. It's a matter of time. Yep. 1:1. Secure the 1:1. Okay. I'm out on the 1:1. Not bad. Honestly, not bad of a move. Yes, it would have been nice if it came to take profit, but you're not gonna always get such moves where it go directly into your take profit. So it's a decent move. I'm really not mad about it. I know I secured a 1:1, but as I said a few seconds ago, that this 5 minutes could be a very dangerous place for me. Others will have added a position, but I don't think it's worth adding another position for me. Yeah. Because the way it reacted, it could flash back lower now. Could just be a 5 minutes reaction to still come back lower. See what I'm talking about? Take me out, come back lower. But yeah. But also look at that 1 minute fair value gap. So this could hold, and still follow back to the downside to take profit. But for me, it was a decent trade because you're not guaranteed anything. The reason why I'm saying it was decent is because you're not guaranteed anything. This can flash all the way back up, so you're not guaranteed anything. So I'm fine for what I've taken. This looks to be reversing, eh? Yeah, it is reversing. Okay. Anyway, we have taken a trade for tonight. Could have taken more, but it's fine. Um, I just didn't want to hold through it, through the pain, man. So yeah, that was a good trade. Let's discuss other possibilities of trades. Long-term trading. As I said, I'm only positioned on that was a break-even trade. Tonight we took a break-even. Decent trade, by the way. Uh, let me see something. And let's speak macros, guys. S&P 500. Let me see. Nasdaq, we are just swept below the 200 MA. It will give you a short opportunity, Nasdaq, to be honest. It is holding support. But I'm closely watching Russell. I might short Russell. Holding the 200 MA, held the 200 MA, push to the upside. I'm just tempted to take Russell, to be honest. If it comes back to that high, um, to just this, because they're all flip on a 4-hour time frame, just gonna be watching closely as it comes back to this high again. I will look for shorts, yeah. I don't like preferable that high, but let's wait and see. Okay. It is fine. Okay. Today, as I said, we've been holding this trade for a while. For those that have been joining me, they know how annoying this trade has been. We have trailed our stop loss to that. Is it this high? Yeah. So our stop loss are trailed to that high. Let's hope there is a continuation. Higher stop loss trail to that high. We have secured profit. Uh, Told you Nasdaq is doing what it's not supposed to do. Let's go back to it. Oh no, this is a problem. This might hold, eh? Yeah, no, this might continue to the upside, but it's fine. We still have that low though, but it's fine. How are we looking like with micros? Yeah. So these are the top setup. Let's speak about the macros and what happened today. Asset score. Okay, let's start discussing CPI because I think it's important for us to firstly discuss CPI. Mm. Hold on, guys, I'm coming now. Hold on for me. Okay. Ah, so sorry about that on YouTube. So today there was CPI. Just to quickly discuss the CPI and my overall bias after CPI today. Um, we'll go through my bias after CPI today. Now let's look at CPI numbers overall for the past few months and the overall move that I'm looking at. And I think maybe that is why I'll be shorting. Now I'll be short. I'm short a GU and long NZD JPY, and I was definitely looking for a USD JPY long. Uh, so economic data. So when you look at CPI that came out today, um, overall, the US has been worried about CPI or inflation. And we knew that as we coming along, and from the previous meeting where Paul's definitely did explain that inflation is not a problem and it's not something to be worried about, besides the fact that we've been doing well all along. You start now being crazy. Wow. I'm irritated on Facebook, but anyway. So with the war, we saw high oil prices. With high oil prices, there was that sentiment that inflation will be a problem, and then the Feds were likely to increase rate. Then that's why we saw the 10-year yield moving to the upside, starting to price in for rate hikes, given the fact that the of Hormuz was closed. Therefore, that alone was saying that the Fed might have to cut rates. That alone was saying the Fed might have to increase rates long term, given the fact that they are highly likely to be possibility of inflation. However, today there was CPI. When you look at today's CPI, the forecast was 2.4. It came out at 2.4, which was exactly the same, which confirmed what Paul has been saying overall that inflation is not a problem. But the biggest problem in US currently was the labor market. So today's CPI came out and confirmed the idea that inflation is not a problem at 2.4, besides oil prices that skyrocketed. And if we're to say the war takes quite longer, there's higher possibilities of inflation increasing. So that was the idea behind it. So inflation came out at 2.4. We stopped being worried about inflation, but uh, the dollar strength is still there. The war is still happening. If it gets prolonged, again, we'll still have an idea that okay, inflation. There's higher possibility of inflation coming back, given the fact that oil prices are increasing. So global inflation will be a problem. So when you look at today's data, on CPI, it came out 2.4, not exactly as expected. Overall, that does not give any problem with an overall inflation problem with only the current data. However, the labor market, the labor market was the one that has been a problem. CPI, NFP, we all saw the NFP data. It was terrible. Came out at minus 92,000, 92,000. So, but given, let's say there was no war, the Fed, I believe the Feds will be inclined to cutting rates, either this quarter or next quarter, just trying to save the labor market. But given that there is war and the scares for inflation problems, so therefore they might not cut rates. And then that alone is still the fact that they might not cut rate, and there's growth concerns in Europe with their inflation is about below 2%, the other at 2%. There's growth concern in that. I believe that we are lying more into the dollar strength if you were to look at the GU and EU. So it'd be lying on more on the dollar strength. But anyway, if we were to look at the asset scorecard on the A1 trading platform called the H Finder, if we were to look at, uh, let's start with the Forex scorecard. And the Forex scorecard will help us identify really trades that we could be looking for. And already we know that on our macro scaring, the first one we're looking at EU. We have a -6 scoring on EU with technicals. We know that technicals are flip bearish for the euro given their growth concern and the inflation data being terrible. Sentiment, crowd sentiment still bearish as well. Economic growth, I did say that there is growth concern in the eurozone. When you look at service PMI, we look at retail sales, all of them they've been bearish. But the labor market is decent enough. It's giving a +2, with the labor market has been bullish for both on the euro. But the inflation as well, PPI and PCE all came out lower, and that is written to the euro. And that's bearish for that's why we have a -2. But I'm really interested in GU, yeah, because I'm short GU. And why am I short GU? Technicals, we are bearish anyway. Growth concerns again. I told you Europe, there's a growth concern. We'll look at the data. We'll also look at, if we look at CPI in UK and the British in the Britain, we've clearly seen that their CPI is below 2%, which is likely deflationary. And the only way to save that is for them to cut rates. As much as there's scars of this war, that high possibility that it might also bring, if it's prolonged, it might be inflationary. However, for now, comparing to a dollar, comparing the two currencies in this case, we see that PMI, service PMI, are all bearish, giving a -5. Inflation data as well. It is a problem. It's bearish for for British pound. That is why I went short. But with overall all the to be honest, with everything that I'm looking at, with everything that I'm looking at, um, I'm fairly honestly looking at Australian dollar. Australian dollar, I am bullish for Australian dollar. Hey man, how are you? I'm bullish for Australian dollar. I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm looking at Australian dollar. I'm very bullish for the Australian dollar. Let's just look at all the numbers and we speak exactly the numbers that we're seeing on the screen and why I'm bullish for the Australian dollar. I am definitely gonna look for a trade. Unfortunately, I was on a trade. I took profit and it still continued being strong. GDP growth, quarterly GDP with an Aussie. The current forecast the data that came out on the 4th, the forecast was zero point 0.7. It came out at 0.8, which is a zero point 0.1 bit over the quarterly GDP growth in Australia. That's quite bullish for it. The only bearish sentiment that we got was manufacturing PMIs, but we jump on to service PMI. We got a bit of 0.6%. Retail sales month over month, the forecast was 0.4. The data was a whipping 1.2, which is 0.8 beating in service PMI. CPI also, look at that. GDP growth is good. Service PMI is good. Retail sales are good. To top it off, that makes the currency very extremely bullish in this case. It's inflation data. Inflation, the forecast was 3.7. CPI came out at 3.8%, which is a bit of zero point 0.1. So we see an uptrend of Australian inflation, and we all know that inflation go current with Reserve Bank decision to either its monetary policy. And in this case, the monetary policy of Australia, they might have to cut rates. I don't know if that makes sense. They might have to increase rates. Sorry, they might have to increase rates, just trying to cap inflation. And already there's war, global inflation is coming through. There's already war. So the Aussie might have to increase rates, trying to cap inflation. And I'm looking at the numbers. As I said, when you look at CPI inflation data, the forecast was 3.7, we got a 3.8. That adds up to the GDP growth, add up to retail sales and service PMI that came out hot, which were better than expectations. And if these two numbers were better than expectations, overall, when you take them together, they are very bullish for Aussie. Right. Then we come to unemployment rate. Come to the labor market. Focus was 4.2, we got a 4.1. Labor market is coming down. So here's the thing. Aussie labor market is coming down. Inflation is increasing. There's good growth. Retail sales is looking good. Service PMI is looking good. GDP is looking good. That's very bullish for the currency. That's very bullish for the currency, given the fact that overall the monetary policy alignment of the Australian Reserve Bank adds to increase rates. So, with that being said, comparing to the overall other currencies that I'm looking to trade the Aussie basket with, you look at the there's what you call a currency meter with the A1 trading with H fund. So the currency meter is 83 bullish for Aussie. And then I'm just quickly gonna jump to PMI. Okay, before I go to technicals, I think the CO data, the latest COT data, I'm just gonna see the COT data, overall institutional positioning that was reported last week Friday, just the overall one. Look at that. Interestingly, net change of 2.7% long. So institution, we've seen that they've added about 14,000 long contracts, and they just closed a bit of few short contracts, but overall change the about 2.7 longs in overall. So basically, that's the highest bought assets when you look at the COT data from last week, and might continue this week as well. So I was looking to buying into the Aussie basket, and I think when you look at the technicals, let's just look at this data here. Where is it? Also, if you look at the top setup, just combining everything that I've been talking about and scoring it. I love the edge finder because it makes that easy. Top setup. I know that the top setup is giving a bullish AUD CAD, AUD USD, AUD JPY. That's one thing that I'm certain about. So on the top setup, if you're on YouTube, you will see all this, the numbers that I'm talking about. On the top setup, you have USD JPY that is bullish, and I've explained that. Given the fact that inflation it might be a problem, the war that is happening, high likely that the Feds will increase rates. Basically, will increase rates. As for indices, I think I'll discuss the indices as well. But if you look at the top setup, if you're on YouTube, if you look at the top setup, we are bullish AUD JPY, AUD CHF, AUD NZD, AUD CAD, AUD JPY, USD JPY as well. And then let's just quickly jump on to look at the technicals. AUDJPY. Ooh. AUDJPY. Guys, AUDJPY. If we were to look at the charting of it, it's a very strong. I think, let me do this. For the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, for the past 7 months, Aussie against the Japanese yen, it's been a very strong bullish thing. So basically, from October last year to this year, AUD or Australian dollar against the yen, it's up 18%. It's up 18%. So if we're to get an opportunity here, I might be looking for it to hold the support, and then perhaps as it reaches the support, I will look to enter. It did give me an opportunity before, but I doubted it. I just didn't jump in. So if it retraces lower, just to give me fair value, I will look to long. I will look to long it. I'm just looking for a decent fair value. Retracement to support, I'm gonna go long AUD, JPY, but also I'm closely looking at AUD CAD as well. AUD, beautiful. Okay. Also AUD USD, I am closely watching to see will it give another retracement. I did miss the first trade. I don't know where was I, but I did miss an opportunity to long it already. But if it comes back again to retest support, and then maybe I will look into it. Aussie CAD as well, same thing. So I'm looking into buying an Aussie basket. I'll buy either AUD JPY, AUD CAD, and then maybe AUD USD. But AUD USD, I'm doubting given the fact that the dollar also is gaining strength. So we might be caught in a consolidation for that. As for indices, as for indices, oh God. So the only bearish indices that we see here with the H finder, it's Russell and China 50. And why is that happening? Look, it looks like we have moved back into can't say risk on, but I think we are trying, institutions are just being safe and they're risk off. Because when you look at Russell is bearish and you look at, let's just look at the asset scorecard. Let me speak about something that I'm looking at and we discuss it properly. Just gonna jump to look at the asset scorecard and then we can discuss the macros behind it. S&P 500. Let's start with S&P 500. S&P 500 sentiment so far it's neutral, right? When you look at the sentiment, it's neutral. Technical, it's mixed, makes it neutral as well. Where the 4-hour chart is bearish, current month seasonality. So seasonality of S&P 500 at this time it is bullish, and we're getting a bearish reading given the fact whatever it's happening. Okay, net COT data, net COT net positioning, it's bearish. But the latest one, the one that we saw last week, report on Friday, was bullish. That's giving us a bearish. But let's jump on into the most critical and important thing: economic growth. It's all the overall bias of the economic growth in USA favors the bullishness of S&P 500, where you see retail sales, we beat an expectation, service PMI beat expectation, consumer confidence is good. Only GDP growth that we got a miss on the GDP growth month over month in USA, where the forecast was 2.8 and the number we got was 1.4, which is a minus 1.4 beating on that. That's a bit bearish, but overall economic growth, it's very bullish for indices in US. Very bullish idea. However, the bearish parts of this that gives it an overall scoring, more especially when you have to look at Russell. This is interesting. So, inflation data, PMI. PMI, we saw an indication of PMI. The forecast was 2.6. We got a 2.9. That's a 0.3% beat. That's very bearish for 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 the currency itself, because the dollar might be gaining strength when you look at service PMI. PCE year over year, it was also bearish. And then I'll also discuss the 10-year treasury yield, because we saw the 10-year treasury yield going to the upside when oil prices were high, and immediately afterwards it crashed back lower. But anyway, we can discuss that. Job labor market, NFP, was we got a very bad labor market. So the problem here, and I think that's our biggest problem, inflation is slowing down. In terms of stocks, inflation is slowing down, which means growth concerns slightly, but inflation is coming lower. We have labor market coming lower. Right. So when you look at inflation and the labor market being bad, both of them that are slightly bearish for indices. That's basically a bearish idea for indices. Johnson Penny was bearish. Weekly jobless claims was bearish. ADP change was bearish as well. No problem, man. So that alone, it's is bearish for indices. But in this case, given the overall scoring, Russell, it's the most bearish idea that I have. Russell is the most bearish idea that I have. So Russell is giving a -6. I'm looking for technicals to short. Yes, we have. If you to look at the technicals, speaking something I didn't even change. Oh, sorry. I've been speaking. Sometimes when you run a stream alone, you forget to change. Anyway, Russell is giving a -6 reading, and then with technical -4, sentimental and scoring, and fundamentals are -1. And as I said, for the macros, for indices, I think the biggest problem is inflation and the labor market. They're all coming down, and it's not good overall. So that is why. But anyway, Russell, I'm bearish on it for indices, and also China 50. I'm interested in trading the China indices. I'm just gonna look at for its technicals to see what's happening with its technicals. So basically, that's the whole idea with my macros and deciding where I'm looking to trade anyway. So as I said, indices, I might look to short Russell. I might look to short Russell on support. I'm just waiting to see the reaction. If it gives a good support, a resistant area, maybe a push again to the upside, and it's very important that the H finder is still giving it as a positioning that I'm going to look to short there. But as for the rest, Nasdaq just sitting on the outside, still neutral for me. I'm still neutral on it. I'm not looking for any trade on it, including Dow Jones. One thing I love about US30, it held support. Um, so that's it, man. I think most of the things are coming through. It's Forex. Also, gold is holding support, nothing dismally. We're just consolidating in the same area. US oil came back down from 119 barrels, $119 per barrel, came down all the way to 78, 79. That was interesting. But let's look at the technicals for all our pairs that we're looking into trading as our top setup has indicated. I think I've discussed a lot of things, but we're going to look at the technicals. Oh, shacks. We had support. I missed. Did I miss it? Okay. NZDJPY. I might look to short this one, yeah. Come back to support. I'm gonna short it. Yeah, if it comes back to support, I might even add a limit on it. GBP AUD. Unfortunately, the trade I was on, I took a bit of profit and it just went lower. But just looking mostly AUD pairs. Let's see what we have here. AUD CHF. Oh, it held support. Look at that. Look at after holding that support, the move to the upside. That's a very strong Aussie here. That's a very strong Aussie, I should say. China 15, then we're gonna call it a day, man. And I'm looking also into the S8 top 40 index. I think it gave good discounts for us to start jumping in. It would be nice to attempt shorts, yeah. On that support, it would be nice to attempt shorts, yeah, for China 50, but I will think about it. So S8 top 40, still giving us good discount. It's moving similar to gold. So for the S8 top 40 index, it's a good space to dollar average, to be honest. It's a good space to dollar average. Uh, this could be your first entry there as it comes back lower. You dollar average it. So I think that would be nice to dollar average US 40, the SA top 40 index, I think. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. For me, come to an end of the day, I think. Just come to an end of the day. As I said, I've already trimmed my stop loss on NZDJPY, the trade that I have long term. I've been holding this trade for about 2 weeks. Most of the time it was consolidating. We have just broken above the high. So I think we're gonna call it a day on my side. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. If you're on YouTube, do not forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support. Let's get to 500 subscribers. Then I'll try my best to start giving you more valuable content, and I'm working on something. So it's just that I've been on and off. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great day and have a productive week. I hope CPI went well. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye.